Everybody, it's Christine. Welcome back to my channel. So I tried vlogging. I really did. I made a couple of videos and I just don't have time, or else there's everybody around and it's chaos and the machines are going, and I want to. I just don't think it's the right time right now. So yeah. So we'll just go back to the standard weekly wrap-ups for now until I can figure out dynamics. So the first book I finished this week was Vonnie Davis's A Highlanders Obsession. I gave this a 5-star. I thought it was hilarious. The grandmother in it, she's got her humor, and it's very funny. She's always wearing these pelican slippers. She calls them her conversation starters. And in Scottish, in this book in Scotland, everybody calls them baffies. And it's funny. There were some problems with it, but I think it's a book that I needed right then. So I gave it a 5 because it was, for me, it was funny. Sorry. So it's a book that is, it starts off with a grandmother and the granddaughter Paisley, and they are on their way to Scotland because the grandmother's great uncle has died and she's in the will, her grandmother. And Paisley is a animal communicator. She can speak to animals, so she's a vet's assistant, and she works for and is engaged to a vet. And he doesn't treat her nice. He's just with her to see what money he can make off of her. He's trying to get interviews and book deals, and she wants none of that. She wants to keep it quiet. Her website doesn't have a picture or her name, like nothing. So they get to Scotland, and she sees all these animals around, and there's a storm, and they say, well, we're taking care of you. We're your spirit animals. And she's like, okay. And then she gets to where they're staying and meets the laird of it and faints dead away because she can hear his voice or his thoughts, and it's the first human she could hear. So it kind of goes from there. She was kind of wishy-washy in a bit because she did how do I say it? She was upset that nobody accepted her gift, but yet when it came to shifters or other paranormal stuff, she's like, this can't be real. So it's kind of like, but you have a talent and nobody else does. So stuff like that. There was one instance that he did something to her and I didn't like it. Nothing painful or hurtful, but it can be construed as hurtful. So there was that. But overall, I did enjoy it. Maybe it's because it was what I needed at the time. It was just a stress relief. I was laughing out loud throughout it. So that's why I gave it 5. And then I finished All the Way by Christian Proby, and I gave this a 3. It started off good. Yeah. It starts off, they're in a lawyer's office because her parents had died. Her and her brother is a drug addict, and she had just gotten hurt by jumping out of a second-floor window when the house was on fire. Her parents got killed, but you kind of get the feeling that this is like a continuation from another story. So in that sense, it didn't really start right. But her brother, the will has a stipulation that her brother has to enter rehab and be clean and sober for a year before he can get his portion of money, and there's a lot of money. She gets everything else. Okay, so she's got a broken leg in 4 different places. She's sitting in this lawyer's office. Her brother takes off because he's pissed off. Actually, the security guards come and take him away. And then, as she's leaving, the lawyer asks her out. So she's like, highly inappropriate. Okay, so they go their separate ways. She goes to Martha's Vineyard because she's a theater actor on Broadway in New York, but in order to recuperate, she goes to Martha's Vineyard where her parents had a house there. And lo and behold, her neighbor is the lawyer. So, yeah. That's when it starts to go downhill. And all, you know, the dynamic between the two, yes, I get the instant chemistry. Yes, I get the instant love. But when they're not in bed, they're thinking about being in bed, or they're arguing. When they're in bed, it's very graphic. I was not expecting the graphicness of it. I thought it was just like a romance, you know. I did not know it was an erotic romance, so just a heads up for that. And yeah, so there's this kind of mystery going on in the background, and it gets sloughed off to the side because of who told her about this specific thing. I'm not going to spoil it. And it's a dead giveaway of what's going on, so I didn't like that. She has had to fight for her money because her dad did not approve of the way she wanted to go the route she wanted with her life. So now when she's with him, and his name is Finn, she is London. Finn wants to buy her stuff just because he loves her and wants to buy her stuff, and she takes it as he's trying to control me. It's not. It's just, you know, you can afford it, get it. I want to buy it for you. No. And that would start another argument, the same argument throughout the whole entire book. And it drove me nuts because she was always wanting him, he was always wanting to buy her stuff just to help her out, to ease her stress, whatever. And she was looking at it as he's trying to control my life and buy, you know, it was just ridiculous. And then at the end, it stopped. I know there's a book 2 and a book 3, but it's the other brothers' stories. So this one just stopped. Like, I was reading it in ebook form, and it said 502 out of 589, and then it was done. I'm like, wait, what? Like, and it was just a preview of the next book. So I was kind of, okay. So I gave it a 3. It's the first time reading Kristen Proby, and I will continue on to see if it gets better, or, you know, if it's the same couple over and over again, I might not. But anyways, those are the 2 books I finished this week. I'm still making my way slowly through Robyn by David Koff. I'm not quite, almost halfway through. And he's just getting to his, the time where he does Good Morning Vietnam, which I love that movie. I should watch it again. And I knew a lot of people in the 80s, like the actors and that, they did a lot of drugs and drinking. I didn't realize he was into it that badly. Yeah. So his marriage has just broken up. And I can see why. And I'm just wondering, because I do have 2 kids with ADHD, if he wasn't ADHD positive, like, because he always had to be going and going and going and going and going and going. And yeah, so it was just, I know there are some people with a lot of energy and it's not ADHD, but it's just the way he was. I'm wondering if he didn't have a little bit of it. But yet he could focus on other stuff, but yet in the same vein, he would always add, he would never go by the script. He would always put his own stuff into it. So yes, in a way he might have it, and yes, in a way he might not. Yeah. So there's that one. And then I'm reading Murder, She Meowed by Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown, and it's book 5 in the Mrs. Murphy Cozy Mysteries. And this one is, there's the steeplechase races. I'm not familiar with horse races at all. Nothing. But a man gets murdered right after the race, and a knife is sticking in his chest with a playing card stuck into it as well. It's drowning me out. Sorry, it's dark. It's really dark today. And so, yeah, it's about, I flew through the first half already, like in a day, sort of. I only read like maybe 20 pages last night, so, no, not even that. I read about half the book in one night. So they're really easy to read. They're very good. They're cute. Mrs. Murphy is a tabby cat. T. Tucker is a corgi, and they talk with all the animals that are around the city, town, little town. So I will be finishing these 2 books. After that, I don't know what I feel like. I'm kind of excuse me, in a mood this last week. Stress. Paying for that big machine. Um, and other bills that are coming in from Christmas. And even though we didn't use our credit cards this Christmas, um, just stress. Daughter picked up her car on Thursday, so my car is now my own. My daughter loves her car, thank God. And hubby's kind of back to work, so things are kind of picking up. Still stressful when you have tons of bills and, you know, money's tight. But anyways, I think that's it. I will try vlogging, like I said, when I have a chance to, or things kind of die down and or get over the fact that, you know, I don't like vlogging when people are around. So get over that fear anyways. But I think this is long enough for a quick update anyways. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.